Good afternoon, everybody.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed your sessions, your breakout sessions.
Yeah. Did everybody have a good session? Has everybody been to the breakout sessions? Yay!
I love it. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And already the final sessions of What Design Can Do.
Well, final, but there's still more to come for the weekend, isn't there?
The film festival.
Yeah.
In the Bali, there's a What Design Can Do film festival. In the Bali, so you can, continue the What Design Can Do vibe.
And of course, it all continues with your book. If you haven't picked up your book, I'm sure everybody's picked up their book, but if you haven't, you know that there's the Athenaeum bookshop here, so you pick up the book before you go.
Yeah, the present of What Design Can Do. It's a very beautiful book. You already have the copy.
I have. I've been reading it cover to cover.
Okay, great. One more thing before we go on, because when we look at our telephones, we are not checking our emails, because we ask you, when you have questions for a speaker, to send us a tweet.
Yeah.
And so please continue doing that, because we really enjoy that.
Yeah.
And the hashtag is What Design Can Do, WDCD15. WDCD15.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on.
Thank you. Is there a doctor in the room?
Oh.
Excuse me, I need a doctor. Is there a doctor in the room? That's quite disturbing, isn't it? No doctor. Somebody fell on the back. What if I came up and asked you, is there a designer in the room? When there's somebody ailing down there? That would be really disturbing, wouldn't that be? Because what would probably happen, the food designer might ask, what did he eat? Maybe he fell out. The architect might say, oh, there's something wrong with the stairs. Or the interactive motion designer might say, oh, we have to design an app. There'll probably be organized a 2-day conference about what design can do for the guy in the back. So, my name is Jeroen Junte. I'm a journalist, and for the next 7 minutes, I will try to explain to you why design can benefit from an oath. The sort of oath that doctors have. You see him here, Hippocrates. He lived 2,500 years ago. And since then, doctors have been pledging an oath of sort of a moral conduct of how to behave. I mean, if you look at the guy, this is a serious oath. I mean, people like that, they don't run for presidency anymore. This is serious, this oath. And they've been doing it for 2,500 years. And I think that explains a little bit why, when there's a doctor in the room, it's quite comforting. But when there's a designer in the room, it's, I gotta be careful, a little bit less comforting. Because you never know exactly what the guiding principle of a designer is. So that's why I ask myself, why can design benefit from an oath? A designer, any designer, has to make multiple choices a day. And being a designer is all about making choices. And I think while making these choices, it's important that there is a sort of a moral. You can design like a give a damn, but of course you also got to design with a conscience. For example, to make it practical, this chair I have designed, this plastic that I've chosen, is it maybe wasteful? Is it bad? Is it good? It's an important choice. Also, if you're a graphic designer, the poster for this theater I've designed, is it maybe inciting hatred, violence? It has a social implication, what you do. And of course, if you're an interactive designer, this application, this smartphone app that I've designed, does it enable governments or maybe even companies to invade the privacy of the user or of a society? So that makes the designer a little bit different than, say, a fireman or an accountant or a journalist. But you could also ask, why now? Why do we need a sort of an oath for designers? Why do we need it now? Well, society is changing, and so is design. New techniques, innovations are developing, for example, open design, 3D printing. And again, we come to choices. You can make a prosthetic leg for 25 euros. You scan the limb, and you can make a prosthetic leg on location in Afghanistan. But with the same technique, you can make a gun. Cody Wilson. Another thing, biotechnology. I think some of you in the student years might have swum in the sea at Koh Samui or some island in Thailand. You've seen the algae at night. There's a Dutch designer, she designed this lamp, and you can take this experience to you in your living room beautifully. But what, another example, if with biotechnology you can sort of breed ray fish and you can choose the color pattern of the ray fish and you can have your own customized shoe of your own customized ray fish. I think that's where it becomes a little bit different. And that's, I think, where a designer has to design with a conscience. Also, the perception of design, the public opinion has changed. This is, as you can see, we're missing out the Clerkenwell Design Week, I see. So thank you very much for all being here. And there's a couple of other ones, Cincinnati, Nairobi, Berlin, Beirut. I think there's also one coming now in Almaty, which is the capital of Kazakhstan. Even Borat is into design these days. And it's almost like Victor Papanek said some good 40 years ago, that design is more and more about people buying stuff they don't need, with money they don't have, to impress the neighbors who give not much. At the same time, design, architecture is becoming sort of an ego thing. New building, gold. I don't think you have to call a referenda in Milan for the people of Milan to say you want your money to be spent on golden buildings or an improvement of the subway station. So, again, there has to be a conscience for designers. You can say, well, there are many sort of guiding principles, cradle to cradle. I don't have to call a referenda here to know that this is not going to work as a sort of moral guideline. This is too much about economics. Then, of course, to make it simple, less is more. Doesn't apply too well either. So then I started doing a little bit of research. If you make an oath, right? Now we know a little bit of the why. Now we got to discover how. How does an oath look like? And then I took the oldest one and the newest one. The newest one is this one for the bankers. Since 1st of April, no joke, bankers in Holland, they have to take an oath. And this is the, And this is the oldest one, the Hippocratic Oath. I think we have a template here. I might even call it a design, but I'm a journalist. So, to restore the trust of the designer within his own profession, and vice versa, and also of the designer in society, I think it can be beneficial to take an oath. And then again, how does an oath look like? Well, of course, to restore trust, you have to be open and transparent. It's quite easy. Then, of course, we've seen it already, plastics and everything. I will not make any design depends on harmful, exhausted resources, wasteful use, Of course, you can all dream it. This is not what we want. I'm not saying that it's your fault as a designer, but if you take a good look, I will not take any design. It depends on. So you can always make a choice. Like if there's a choice, you can make something that's not made of, say, that little plastic bulb there. You can avoid it. You have the choice. That's the beauty of being a designer. Not harming other people, it's sort of basically the same. I'll run through it. This is not what we want. So if you design, say, a smartphone, try to use the materials that don't depend on child labor or any other dirtiness. And this is my favorite, actually. I will acknowledge the limits of my profession. Well, the last 2 days we've seen that design will probably cure illiteracy, poverty, refugee problems, or Ebola, no, not Ebola, but quite a lot of problems is going to be solved by design, which I think a little bit of modesty could do as well. Because I know designers, they make such bad chairs, it would be inhuman to let them design a school in Africa. So, not every designer has to deal with the world problems. I think design can be fun and can be sexy as well. And, you know, in the Western world, we also need utensils. We need stuff that's nice, and we even need ugliness. There's nothing against ugliness. As long as you design it with a conscience, right? And no little children hands or anything. And of course, you're a designer, you work in the commission. And as we've seen earlier today, there's nothing wrong with making an honest box, so to say, like IKEA, but do it with a conscience. So, here it is. And since we're all here for the last 2 days, and yeah, you feel it coming already, but don't let you mistake by the gospel choir. These, if you've counted, they're 9, so they're not 10 commandments. It's about you as a designer. It's not an obligation, it's an opportunity to do good. So that's why I please ask you for this time, ask not what design can do for you, but what you can do for design. Please rise, everybody, please rise. And repeat with me, please, if you have a conscience. So everybody has a conscience. Please rise. And repeat. I promise that I will conduct in an honest, open and transparent manner. I will make a careful consideration of the interests of the society, the user, and the commissioner and its employees. I will not make any design that is harmful to the user, nor shall I make any design with the purpose of harming other people. I will not make any design, where were we? Incites hatred, violence and oppression. Yeah, we all agree with that. I even see some hands on the chest. Very good. Please repeat. You're getting good at it. I will not make any design that depends on child labor or any other form of exploitation. I will not make any design that depends on harmful or exhausted resources. I will withhold from wasteful use of energy, raw materials, or labor, and I will respect the creative autonomy of other designers. I will acknowledge the limits of my profession. That I promise. Thank you.